Good afternoon, everybody. Just a little bit of an introduction. I'm the Managing Director of Civil Engineering for Sir Robert McAlpine. I'm also today here as a joint venture board director for Sir Robert McAlpine and Amy joint venture that won this morning. I've got another hat, which is the chair of the Supplier Readiness Group for Project 13 that you heard about earlier. I'm also a non-exec advisor to a small technology company trying to sell in to the highways market. And I mention these because I think they give me some different perspectives to give you over the next 10, 15 minutes. And these roles give me one overwhelming perspective, which is we need to change and we need to do things differently. But how do we learn, change and improve? This is where we're going to have some audience participation first. So all of you that I can see eye to eye, I'd like you to take part. So this event's called Highways UK. Hands up if you've worked in another sector other than highways. Fantastic. Hands up if you've worked, oh sorry, I should have put my hand up as well. Hands up if you worked in another country other than the UK. Right, hands up if you've brought some good practice from another sector or from another country to what you're doing today. Oh, see, a smaller number of hands without doing a detailed vote on Slido. So that's what I'm just going to talk about today. I'm going to go through 4 projects. They're McAlpine projects. I joined McAlpine 18 months ago, and it's been a voyage of discovery of some wonderful stuff, because we've typically been a very quiet company, very private company, not just in ownership, but actually we do some fabulous stuff. And my challenge in the civil engineering team, which is a small team, in fact nearly all of them are here, I won't make them wave, is to bring some of that learning from our other sectors into highways. And I think that's a challenge for us all, because highways, and I've been in highways for more than half my 30 years, is slow to change. So I'm going to go through 4 projects, 3 areas. You'll recognise the 3 areas because I do listen to customers: safety, customer service and delivery. So first of all, improving safety. You might wonder why I've put Chapel Wharf up here. Chapel Wharf is 4 blocks of 995 apartment blocks in Salford. We've used full digitisation, full DFMA, an integrated team working on the design and the construction. And effectively, we've moved work off-site from site workers into various factories, probably about 6 factories across within our supply chain across the UK and Ireland. Now you're all looking at me and going, wow, that hasn't been done before. No, of course it's been done before. Laing O'Rourke probably way ahead of us. The point is we're having to change. We're delivering this now. And you have to see it to believe it. So some of our colleagues from Amy, our joint venture partner, went there and were astonished at the health and safety improvements it brings. Small example, all the balconies for these apartments are precast, but before they're delivered to site, the temporary handrails are put on them, so we don't have scaffolders working at height. So we completely removed all the high-risk activities at Chapel Wharf. We took Highways England's smart motorway safety team there, and they'd been on a more traditional building site the week before. And again, their statistics were remarkable in terms of the reduction in the number of trades working on site, the number of trades and operatives. So we can do it. How do we bring that to highways? Because smart motorways has been crying out for modularisation and off-site construction. We're still hardly doing it. We need to change. Next one I'm going to just demonstrate is improving customer focus. And here I go to Broadgate, massive development in the City of London for British Land, one of our long-term clients. And here we've developed with the customer an app that takes us away from hiding behind the hoardings. We typically hide behind the hoardings. Nobody knows who we are. Nobody sees us. But now we're interacting because we're building a job in Broadgate at Liverpool Street that is above live retail. So all the retail is still live as we're taking down a building and building a new office block underneath us. But underneath the retail are the tracks coming out of Liverpool Street Station. So how the hell do you do that? And how do you keep your stakeholders happy? So Broadgate, British Land is a massive campus, hundreds and thousands of tenants walking past or trying to walk past every day. How do they know where to walk? How do they know what's happening on site? But how actually do we engage them? So we're engaging them with news about the project, with 3D maps, visualizations of the build. We're involving them in employment and training opportunities for them and their families. And we're also, the retailers got on board with this app and offering discounts so that we can still maintain the footfall that's coming through. So some of this stuff is far away from what you might think as a civil engineer or builder. The challenge in highways, and we were listening, some of us were listening this morning to Transport Focus and the strategic road user survey that they're doing. How do you, but what that doesn't do is capture people on an actual scheme. So we're going to be looking at how we use an app like this on an actual scheme. And if we get involved early enough, we should be able to target users with this technology before the scheme's even designed, to make sure we really understand how the users currently use the junction we're at. The next area I'm going to look at, a couple of projects, is improving delivery. And by the way, there's nothing revolutionary here. You've all been involved in some of these. My challenge to all of you, though, is how many of these are you bringing? Because there can't be that many, because we're still in highways, I don't think, changing as fast as we need to. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is HS2 Phase 1, where we're involved through a joint venture called Align with friends from Bouygues and Volker Fitzpatrick in what will be the Colne Valley Viaduct and the tunnels under the Chilterns. Oh, I've got a colleague from Bouygues I've just noticed in the audience. Hello, Jerome. The challenge here is that we've been appointed very early at the beginning of stage 1, so not even any detailed design done. And what we've done here is put in a fully integrated, co-located team. Now, you've all heard about those before. What's special here is that we've put the teams together not only in one place, but in teams of people that are working together, from the client, the designer, the commercial teams, all in the clusters. And it's dramatic how much better that improves communications. Again, nothing new, but we don't do that enough in highways. You often see co-location in highways, but you get told to go left to go and speak to the designer, turn right to speak to the contractor, and go straight on to see the customer. How do we make this really happen? The last project I'm going to talk about is the Bloomberg headquarters in the City of London. This is an award-winning project getting on for 750,000 square feet of office space, delivered in close proximity to the Waterloo and City line, in close proximity to Bank Station. In fact, in the 4-storey basement of the new Bloomberg headquarters is a new entrance to the new Bank Station. We've had to put that in. A technically very, very complex job. So how do you tackle all that complexity? And 14,000 artifacts found during the archaeological dig, an ancient temple down there, and a Sir Christopher Wren church right next door as well. So technically very, very challenging, but on all sides, public, pedestrian and vehicle access. And I'll leave you with this one because I think it's the best. Here, we don't have a site compound of any size. We did have to get up to 1,200 people onto site every day. But how do we get the materials on site? So here we set up what is best described as an air traffic control system. Slots booked daily. So if you can't turn up and deliver to this site just because you think you're ready. You can only turn up and get the crane time, the hook time, if you've booked a slot. This has driven, you think about it backwards, this has driven a discipline in planning and efficiency that's absolutely incredible, and resulted in lots of learning, because we can track all the vehicles, we get to know traffic patterns. Not revolutionary technology, but I think it is applying to a very congested site. Now, we've got a real expertise in this, developed because this is, I think, our 40th building in the last 4 years in central London, many of them hundreds of millions of pounds each. How do we bring that to highways is our challenge. We've been given the challenge by being awarded a place on the framework. How are we going to do that? So, I come back to a little more audience participation. What actions are you going to take? Because I don't think I've highlighted much there that you wouldn't have heard before. But my challenge, and I say it as somebody from the highways industry, my challenge is how do we accelerate the learning of bringing these great ideas from very close sectors. We're not even going and looking at aerospace or manufacturing or automotive. These good ideas are available on our doorstep. How do we all do that? So I remind you all, if you didn't put your hand up about how you brought some good practice or best practice from somewhere else into highways, remember that's your action. So thank you very much for listening to me.